What's happening, Sales Ascender? Sean here, back at you with another high-ticket tune-up. In this video, I'm going to talk exclusively about how to duplicate consistent closed deals, not with yourself, but rather when you're starting to build a team. Stay tuned. What's happening, Sales Ascender? Sean here, back at you with another high-ticket tune-up. I'm back here with another doozy of a question. I got the question from a friend of mine named Trudy. Trudy is a killer. She's been crushing it in her specific field for some time. She runs an ad agency. And when she said to me, because she does all the frontline sales, she said, Sean, how do I duplicate my ability to close deals? While that's really important, obviously we want to duplicate it ourselves. And as long as you are starting to close some of the deals, it becomes fairly simple and straightforward as long as you have the tools, the tactics, and the techniques. So in this video, I'm going to share exactly how to duplicate the results that you're looking for. In fact, there's an analogy called ding, D-I-N-G, that I'm going to share with you. So the topic's going to be how to duplicate consistent closed deals, because that's what we want to do. And I want to dive into the slides here just for a second with you. So let's go ahead and do that now. See, let's start with the ding. Ding, 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 meaning you're closing more deals. First thing is we got to do the work, right? In this case, Trudy has done a lot of the work. She knows how to close the deal. She's been in the space for a minute of time. She's understood who she serves truly, how to serve them when she gets in the conversation, what are the hot buttons that she typically needs to say and share and do, understanding people's problems that she solves, moving through understanding how they can afford their services, and then of course their buying process stays within line and closes deals. So she has done the work. If you haven't done the work yet, this is something that's on you. You got to dive out and you got to go do the work to get the results. Once you've started to get the results, this is where things get really exciting. As we move on to the I, you need to invent a guide. See, now that you've done all of the work, you personally know how to close the deals. While that's fantastic and that can pay you for a lifetime, it's not about paying you for a lifetime. Once you've covered the financial aspects, it's time to go make some impact. How do we make impact? There's really kind of two major ways to do that. The first is to serve more people by closing more deals, right? And then the second is to empower other people inside of your organization by teaching them the skill set that you have, and so that they can actually go and do the same thing. So invent a guide is the I. What does this mean, Sean? Well, once you've done the work, guess what? You've probably handled all of the objections that come with doing the work. And so once you know all the objections, the secret is so simple, it's scary, is write down all of the stuff that you need to get the deal closed. Now, in my case, I learned this from one of my mentors. His name was Chris, and he was teaching me way back in the day how to do this, because he had replicated himself and he built this massive team because he invented a guide. I'm gonna actually show you the guide that he helped me with. Here is the guide. You see how thick it is, right? And it's big, loose leaf guide, and it has all of the stuff that I need to learn. In this particular section that I'm looking at here, oops, let me just move it on screen. This is a guide of objections. So in his world, these were the most commonly asked objections. So he wrote down, just inventing the guide, he wrote down all of the stuff that needed to be in this guide. And then he said, okay, now I've got the guide. Now I can distribute it to other members of my team. So he invented a guide, and then he took that guide and he passed it along to other members, and then he walked through it with them so they would understand a little bit of how to use it. And then once they started using it and they understood, guess what happens next? You can now nurture others, meaning once you have the understanding, okay, so first of all, you do the work, then you invent the guide, then you hand the guide off to the next person that you want to do the work with you and for you. And then now your job as a coach is to nurture them, but then also watch them nurture others. See, because once you know all of these objections and you're in a place where you can handle them without even thinking about it, it frees mind space up so you can actually focus on watching body language. You can focus on the pauses or the commentary coming from your prospect, and you can actually nurture right into their mood. You can adjust your moves a little bit earlier because you have all the objections memorized and you invented a guide, and now you've given this guide to somebody else. And now, number one, you can nurture your prospects and get them over the line so you can make impact. But number two, too, when you're building this team, you can actually nurture the others by doing things like role play, like pull out this guide. And what I used to do after I got this guide and I started learning and I built this humongous team, I had 50 people that were doing the same thing that I was doing, and I was showing them how to do it with this guide. And every day, how did I nurture them? I met with them for 30 minutes in the morning and we just did role plays. We went through pages on this guide until everyone kind of knew it by heart. And then it was just, now let's go do the activity. And so that's how we were able to nurture other people. And that's the end, right? And then it brings into gaming the system. As you game the system, now you have people that are replicated. They know the exact responses that you're using to things like objections and other ways to handle different scenarios. Now we need to make fun for them. Now we need to actually sell to the sales team that we've just created and built. And so that's why I talk about gaming the system. If you don't have some sort of goals, stretch goals, and then like winning formulas, one of the things we do in our business is having what we call our $20 guilty pleasure. So when we hit a sales goal, then we always have a stretch goal every single month for revenue. And if we hit the stretch goal, then everybody on the team is awarded their $20 guilty pleasure. And of course, when we bring them on board, we say, hey, what's your $20 guilty pleasure? They write it in an application and it comes to us. And so we know, hey, this person likes to go roller skating. And so for their $20 pleasure, we would either send them, knee pads or arm pads or a helmet, or give them a gift card to go skate at the rink or whatever it is. And so that's how we started to game the system. And then we create their different levels, right? So you can have, if you're building a sales team, you can have like the novice sales pro, then you can have the amateur and then the pro, or whatever levels you want to create. And then you have a selling manager beyond and above that. And so it gives the internal people on your team room to grow into your system. It gives them an untapped ceiling so that they know like, hey, I can grow and learn. One of the biggest things why sales people strive to look for in business opportunities when they join a force is, how can I grow? How can I get better? What are the benchmarks that I need to go hit so I can climb to the top of the scoreboard? And when you game the system, you'll have all the elements because you did the work, right? And we'll go back to the D. You did the work. You invented a guide that you could now use. You remembered and memorized all these things. It allowed you more time to now focus on your prospect. You shared the guide with other salespeople. You helped nurture them into the same place that you were. And then you created a platform where they can play one step at a time all the way up to the top. And that, my friends, is how you duplicate. So going back to that question again, Trudy asked this. She said, how do I duplicate my abilities to close deals? This is the answer, this analogy right here. And so all that being said, do the work, right? Invent the guide, nurture others, and then game the system. And you'll have the entire platform dialed in, ready to go. And you're going to win at the highest level. This, my friends, is the very simple shortcut of how to actually go about duplicating your ability to close deals, because you know how to do it. It's your obligation to close lots of deals and make impact in other people's worlds, and to help others to learn the skill set of how to do the same thing in your world. So with that said, you've just been tuned up. Don't forget, there's a sales ascender inside of each and every one of you. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button to the channel here and hit the like and share this to somebody that needs it. And I can't wait to see you next time.